Hello, my name is Justine, and I'm one of the Writing and Study Skills tutors at Wake Tech. In this video for Writing for Psychology, we will be looking at some more tips to help you prepare for success in your general psychology course. So specifically today, we will focus on different types of evidence you might use when writing for your psychology course, along with some tips on how to navigate the research process effectively. So let's get started looking at that. First, we'll talk about different types of evidence. So you want to remember that most analytical psychology assignments should not rely on personal anecdotes or experiences or opinions as your data to make an argument. Now, this does vary by assignment. For example, some may ask you specifically to incorporate personal experiences and opinions. So definitely always closely examine your assignment sheet and follow your instructor's guidelines. But when you are using different types of evidence from your research, you can see here that there are two types, quantitative data and qualitative data. Quantitative data are based on surveys and statistics. These provide large numbers of data, which can be particularly useful for studying large-scale issues regarding human behavior and attitudes within psychology. Qualitative data, on the other hand, comes from participant observation, in-depth interviews, as well as from the researcher's own impressions and reactions. So this type of research gives insight into the way people actively construct and find meaning in their world. Now, some psychologists favor qualitative over quantitative data or vice versa, and you may notice this in your research. Keep in mind that it is perfectly fine to rely on only one method in your own paper. However, since each method has its own strengths and weaknesses, combining methods can also be a particularly effective way to bolster your argument. Okay, next, let's talk a little bit about the research process. So the Wake Tech Library offers many helpful resources to help you collect research for your psychology papers or anything that you're writing, but we'll talk about psychology in particular today. So remember that research is not always required, but if it is, you will want to check out the research guides and databases available to you through the Wake Tech Library. So let's take a look at those together. So here you can see the Wake Tech Library main page that you can find on the website. You could always just Google Wake Tech Library and it'll take you here, and you can find lots of helpful resources. Specifically today, I want to talk about the databases. For one, this is where you can find credible sources for your papers. So if you click to search databases, you can find a list in alphabetical order if you know the one you're looking for. They give you a helpful one, NC Live here, where you can access lots of different helpful resources, an eJournal portal. But if you come down here, you can find resources by subject. So if you're writing for your psychology class, you click on psychology and you find some helpful sources here. So you can find ProQuest, which is going to give you journals. That is going to be particularly helpful. You can also find in PsycInfo some peer-reviewed literature, and in psychotherapy here, some videos that can also be helpful as you are researching your topic. So let's take a look at ProQuest, which is a popular one. If you click there, you're going to go to the ProQuest database focused on psychology. You might need to log in with your Wake Tech credentials, and then you'll find this page. So let's say if you are writing a paper about bipolar disorder, you could just type that in here. If your instructor does say it needs to be peer reviewed, you could click this. Full text is going to be helpful, so you can read the whole thing online, and then you can search for your topic. If you need to, if your instructor says, oh, it can only be, within the past, 9 years, you could focus on a particular date, or in this case, this is giving us just the past 4 years. Anything that you need to filter, you can do so on the side. But here you're going to see all these different sources. You can see these are scholarly journals because I did click the peer review. And you would just scroll through these, look at the titles, look at, anything that might be interesting to you. Now, if you find one that you do want to look at more closely, if you click on it, you're going to find the abstract, which is going to give you a brief summary. And then you'll also find the full text. Now, everything you find in these databases is going to be, credible research that is published somewhere, but you're able to access it online as a Wake Tech student. So it's good, credible sources. And also there's good tools up here where you can, download the PDF if you want to save it. You could print the article if you wanted to, or just copy the URL so you don't lose it. You can check out other options here, if you want to save it or export it. And also super helpful when you need to cite material, you can click the Cite tool. It'll default to APA here. If you needed to change it to say MLA, you'll find that down here. But it gives you this citation, which is what you would put on your references page. So also a good tool. Okay, so it's a great place to start for your research. Now, the other helpful tool that Wake Tech Library provides you, or resource, are these research guides. So if you click on research guides, again from that main library page, you're going to see it broken up into all these different subjects. You can come down to psychology, and you can see some instructors have created their own research guides or had the librarians create them based on the information they wanted to include. So if this is one of your instructors, you could click on those to see what they recommend specifically. If not, there is this general psychology research guide. And here you're going to find all sorts of resources that might be helpful for your course and for writing papers. Again, you can see databases and journals here, but these are going to be the ones that are especially helpful for psychology. So you can see there's lots more that are included here. It also gives you websites that might be helpful for your research or for just your studies, video tutorials. If you're having trouble understanding some of the information that you're learning about, you've got that there. So that's also helpful. It even gives you information about writing and citation help. We'll get into APA in another video, but there is one here for you to check out too. And then a really helpful tool is to access your librarians. They are also great resources for you, especially when you're trying to research for a paper. So all their information is listed here. You can contact by email, go in person, make a reference appointment if you'd like. But also a really nice tool is this chat right here. So as a Wake Tech student, you can see when the library is open, you can type in a question here or anything that you're struggling with that you would want to ask a librarian, but maybe you're not on campus, so you can't do that face-to-face. Type it in here and a real live Wake Tech librarian will respond to you and can help you with your research questions. Okay, so those are, again, those helpful tools for you that are available through the Wake Tech Library. You have your databases, you have your research guides, and again, the chat tool is available right there as well. Okay, so thank you for listening to this information about writing for psychology. I hope that you have learned some helpful information about that research process and also incorporating evidence into your papers. And remember that if you ever need help with any of your writing assignments, whether it's related to research or something else, you can always schedule a one-on-one tutoring appointment with us. All right, good luck with your course.